It's the same shit over and over and over and over again. It's every year. And yet another Yankee season ends like this. I can't say I'm not surprised. I can't. I got a lot of flack for it from my friends because of supposed negativity about the Yankees throughout the year. But this is why. Let me take these off. Use the reflection. And this is not going to be long. This is my quick thoughts. I need to clear my head, but I need to get my thoughts out. If you missed it, I actually did a good video on this, recapping the season and getting my thoughts across. But I needed to get a few more extended thoughts in after, again, what has been another pathetic end to the Yankee season. Being a fan of this team is very difficult. It is. There are a lot of fans out there who are fans of teams that don't spend, that don't put themselves in a position to win, which is understood, and I would never want to be in their position. But at the same time, when expectations are high, being let down hurts even more. If you're a fan of a team like the Pirates, who goes into a season with a less than $70 million payroll, if you're the Nationals, any one of these teams that don't really spend, the Oakland, whatever the hell you want to call them, the Athletics, yes, that sucks. And I wouldn't wish that upon my worst enemy. But at the end of the day, for those fans, they go to sleep knowing that they don't give an absolute F with what their team does, considering the fact that they know that team is not going to win. Pirates fans know that they're not going to go to the World Series. They know that they're not going to re-sign Paul Skeens. They're going to lose one of the best pitching prospects, one of the best young pitchers in MLB history. They know they're not re-signing him. So that's the dichotomy between a Yankees fan, a team like this, a fan of a team like this, and a fan of a team that doesn't spend. Both situations suck, but this situation hurts a lot more because you go into the season having expectations. You go into the season invested. You know that your owner's going to spend money. But the flip side of it, from someone like me, is you understand the inherent fundamental issues with this organization. It has been 8 seasons now. This was Aaron Boone's 8th season. 8 full seasons since the Yankees came within one game of advancing to the World Series, losing to the cheating Astros. It's hilarious that team, a team that was not expected to make the playoffs, is the team that in the last 17 years was the closest to winning a World Series. And don't bring up last year. The team is feeble. They had no chance. They were exposed on the highest level in all of sports. But here we are again. And this might be earlier than people expected. This might be later than people expected. Doesn't change the fact that it happened, and it happened against a division foe that everyone thought you were going to be better than going into the season. And guess what? They absolutely dismantled you. Not only did they dismantle you, but 7 of your 9 usual starters in that lineup did not provide jack shit. There are 2 guys that you could say thank you to, that you can give credit to in that lineup. And that's Aaron Judge, who deserves a massive pat on the back for himself. He did exactly what I didn't think was capable of in his career, and I hope that going forward, if the Yankees do finally make a change managerially and organizational philosophy-wise, that Aaron Judge can repeat what he did this postseason, next postseason, the postseason after that. But they finally got it. They finally got the production they've needed from Aaron Judge over the past few years, and no one else did a fucking thing. No one else produced whatsoever. The pitching was suspect. You couldn't even get a good performance from Max Fried in Game 2, your ace. Rodon sucked. Cam Schlittler was your best pitcher. And Devin Williams gave up those 2 runs, even though those weren't earned runs. But either way, you catch my drift. I don't think it's going to change. I really cannot sit here and tell you for sure that things are going to change with this organization. I needed to see it to believe it. And that's what I've been saying for the past few years about Aaron Judge in the playoffs. I need to see it to believe it. And I saw it. And I believe it. I believe he's capable of that. That was needed last year. That was needed 2 years before that. That was needed 3 years before that. Hindsight's 2020 though. And I'm not going to sit here trying to change things. Like, it happened, it is what it is. But they finally got MVP Aaron Judge in the playoffs, and they fell flat on their fucking faces. All of them. Every single player besides Ryan McMahon fell flat on their fucking faces, besides Aaron Judge and Ryan McMahon. If you told me going into tonight that the Yankees were going to lose because they put up one run on 5 hits, I would have told you you're crazy. Which honestly wouldn't have made sense considering what we've seen from this team and what we've grown to expect from them. And again, if you missed it, I did a reaction video on my Twitter, and I really thought that I was able to get my most articulate thoughts out, especially after a disappointing end to the season, to yet another season. So it's very hard to separate the emotional fan side of things from being objective. But this is something that I feel like I've thrived in over the past few years, especially with the Yankees. Like, yeah, it's gotten extreme at times. I've made TikToks about the season being over before it was over. I've called for people's heads that didn't deserve trades and firings and yada, yada, yada. But I think my general take about this team, the gist of the take that I have every single year, has been proven correct time and time and time again. And that's that the Yankees are not going to be able to win playing baseball like this. They could spend all the money in the world that they want. They can make all the trades and give up all these guys in the farm for whomever they want. It will not change the fact that their manager is an absolute dipshit. Their GM has hired an analytical staff that has been completely inept at doing their jobs correctly. Cashman himself, the trades that he made this trade deadline, I think this is the best trade deadline that he's had in years. Bednar became your closer. Caballero was a very solid piece off the bench. Somehow, Anthony Volpe played over the guy. That's another story for another day. I'm not going to sit here and scream about Anthony Volpe for the next 20 minutes. But I'm sure you all agree with the sentiment that Anthony Volpe, him getting an at-bat late in that game, I know they eventually took him out, but him getting that at-bat in that big moment, it's so head-scratching. And the fact that the Yankees kept trotting him out there, they said on the broadcast he was 0 for his last 19 with 15 strikeouts. You can't make that shit up. You can't. But that's part of it. That's part of this larger, all-encompassing issue. That they don't do things the correct way. And I get it. Like, baseball is different. Baseball is not as fluid as, maybe basketball or football. Like, I get it. There's a lot of BS. Shit happens in baseball. I understand that. And you have to have the right instincts. The Yankees manager does not have the right instincts. This analytical department does not have the right instincts. Whatever it is not working. I thought Aaron Boone deserved to be fired after the Yankees missed the playoffs 2 years ago. No, he was brought back. He was extended. I thought Brian Cashman should have been fired after that year that they missed the playoffs in 2023. He wasn't. He was brought back. And nothing will change with this organization until I see it. We can all sit here and debate who deserves to be fired, who deserves to keep their jobs. None of it matters. There will be a scapegoat. I don't know who it's going to be. I assume it's going to be Aaron Boone. If Aaron Boone is brought back next year, I boycott the team. I will not talk about them once. I will not tweet about them. I will pretend they do not exist. All right? I'll pick up a card game. I'll start playing Rummy Cube. I don't know. I'll find some obscure video game on the PlayStation market and play that every freaking night. Or get into a show that I never wanted to watch in my life instead of watching the Yankees and giving any sort of thought, any sort of energy, devote that towards the Yankees. If Aaron Boone is brought back next year. And I urge you to all do the same. Because until we make their pockets hurt, they will not make changes. And I think that Aaron Boone's going to get fired. I'd be very shocked to see him return after this. Another season fizzled out like this in his 8th season as manager. It's been a longer time from when he took over to now than it was when he took over to the last time the Yankees won the World Series. So combine those two things together, and you got 15 years. It's 16 now. And in any other era in Yankees history, this would be frowned upon. And everyone likes to bring up the argument that George, he would have fired. We know he would have fired Aaron Boone. He would have been gone a long time ago. The Yankees were not good after that original run of success in the late 70s and 81 until, you may ask, George Steinbrenner was banned from baseball. And Stick Michael took over the team, drafted Bernie, drafted Derek Jeter, etc., Pettit. Guys that George Steinbrenner would have traded, they kept. They ended up turning into a dynasty. So that argument is kind of, it's a moot point. Apex Calabria, I don't know, sorry. Imagine Boone trying to protect Volpe from booze by bringing in Jason Dominguez. Yeah, he gets a double. And that was, you can't make that shit up. You cannot. Yeah, that's a good point. They probably should have done that 2 innings before that. Casey says they have to let Trent. He's gone. I don't think you need to see any more from him after what he gave you in that postseason, especially with how good Judge was. The fact that he came up constantly with no one on base completely minimized the damage that he could have done. How many singles did he have that were meaningless until he hit the big home run? And in the biggest moment of his career, it's going to be forgotten because the Yankees lost. And it should be, because that's how Yankees fans need to think about baseball and think about their team. Apex, yeah, I mean, for good reason. They should be blasting New York in their clubhouse. Deserved. Drew, can't do anything without you talking about the Eagles. Eagles-Giants prediction, talked about it on my podcast, 25-10, Eagles, blowout. Line is -7 Eagles. They'll cover that easily. But yeah, it's now time to focus on the Giants and their piss poor organization as well. It just never ends. And there was really only one thing that could save us. One thing. One team. That's my favorite team. It's the New York Knicks. I'd sit through 10 more of the same type of seasons that we've seen over the last 8 years from the Yankees to get one Knicks championship. One. That's all I need. That's all I need. I digress, though. This is just, it's, I've grown numb to it. I'm not going to sit here and scream. Like, this is honestly more somber. Also because it's late at night. I'm not trying to, piss off my roommates, but I think this is as somber and as thoughtful as you'll ever get me. I usually sit here. I'm loud. I'm vocal. I'm opinionated. But with something that I've talked about so many times, going back to 2019, I hosted a high school radio show, high school TV show called Sports Takeover. If you know, you know. And I had this conversation, literally had this exact same conversation in 2018 after the Yankees lost the Red Sox. That was Aaron Boone's first year as manager. I was in high school. Now I'm 2 full years, almost 2.5 years out of college. And the same shit is happening. So you can understand why I feel like this. I don't know what else there is to say. Because, again, I've hammered this point home time and time again over the years. And until something changes, nothing will change. And I hope that Hal Steinbrenner could have the foresight to understand that things don't need to get to the point of, hey, no one's going to the games, everyone's boycotting the team, which will never happen. It's the Yankees. They play at Yankee Stadium. Brain dead girls with their jean shorts and their jeans and their stupid Yankee shirts. They're going to show up to Yankee Stadium anyway. They'll buy the chicken buckets. They'll buy the $20 beers. They'll sit and field MVP and spend an exorbitant amount of money to watch a terrible team. They'll do all that. None of that will change. It's because of where the team plays and the prestige of the organization that his father, Hal Steinbrenner's father, George, partially built. And Hal Steinbrenner is killing the legacy of the Steinbrenner name. Because a lot of fans, have this short-term memory and they realize that they don't realize the fact that the Yankees won all those World Series in the late 90s, early 2000 as well, because of moves that the Yankees made when George Steinbrenner, again, was banned from baseball. I think that's funny, but it's valid. It's valid. Because to George's credit, a change would have been made. Yeah, 3 or 4 more changes would have been made as well, but a change would have been made nonetheless. And I've yearned for this now for about 4 or 5 years. Just the idea and the identity of who the Yankees would be without Aaron Boone as the manager. And I honestly could not tell you what that would look like. I couldn't. And man, if we don't see that, again, as I said, I'm boycotting the team. I will not devote a single ounce of energy towards that piss-poor organization that couldn't even get to a decisive Game 5 against the Toronto Blue Jays. And that's not to discredit them at all. The Blue Jays played extremely well in that series. The Yankees had a death of 1,000 paper cuts. That's how it happened. Yes, there were big plays, the Vlad grand slam, how many base hits they got. Ernie Clement, guy who I had no idea about killing the Yankees. Like all these guys, playoff risers. You want to know what this team reminds me of, the Blue Jays team? The late 90s Yankees. Yeah, they were top heavy. They had their stars. But all those guys produced when it mattered the most. Chuck Knobloch, Scott Brocious, Jeter, Bernie, Paul O'Neill. And then that continued for years. And the Yankees just got unlucky in 03. And then in 04, whatever happened there. Then after that, kind of all went to shit. And they won in 2009 because they went out. And this is before a time of analytical baseball. Yeah, Moneyball was still whatever. But it wasn't fully adopted around the league. Analytics weren't, the talk of the town. And the Yankees went out and they signed everyone in the offseason. They signed the top 2 pitching prospects and the best hitter on the market. And that's how they won the World Series. And they didn't win after that. So that should tell you all you need to know about this organization. They don't do things the correct way. And it's time for a change. And it's like every year you hear, oh, well, Howard Steinbrenner's gonna look at every part of the team and there are going to be changes. What the fuck, Hal? Where are the changes? It's about damn time. It is. It's past time. I'm going to answer these 2 things. I'm going to, Apex, appreciate your engagement here. If you enjoy this, watch more of my live streams and you'll get a lot more excited and exuberant Bryce Gelman. But, tonight, obviously. We should eat G's contract, build the 2026 team around Rice, JD, Jones, Judge, and Belly. I don't know if you really want to build this team around Belly after what he just did in the playoffs. Infuse more youth and athleticism. I've been saying this for years. Jazz, he deserves one more year. I agree with you on that. I don't know if Bellinger should be brought back if teams are going to be willing to sign him for, multi-years and over $100 million. I don't think that's worth it after what Cody Bellinger did in the playoffs. Yeah, sure, he's a great fielder, but you can get the same level of production from Kyle Tucker, and you're not going to probably sign both of them. And Apex says, save us, Knicks. Yeah. Save us, Knicks. I don't know how my mental health is going to fare if the Knicks fizzle out in the playoffs like they did last year. But hey, listen, things are looking up. The vibes are good. The coaches ran sprints today. The behest of Jalen Brunson. Mike Brown is infusing some smiles, some energy around this team. 2 weeks from today, man. Can't wait. NBA on NBC is back. A lot of fun storylines to look forward to in the NBA. And as we get set to start discussing that and breaking down all things Knicks, now I could fully devote my thoughts and energy towards a team that actually has a chance to do something because they made a change. They made a freaking change. That's why I'm more confident in this team. The Yankees, on the other hand, the team with the 27 world championships, the team with an innate amount of pressure every year. They don't make the change. But the Knicks, the team that haven't won a championship since 1973, that's the team that made a change. Boone's postgame is so pathetic. LOL became a close team. I guess I'll have to watch that and drink away my tears. No, I'm kidding. It's a Wednesday night. I'm not drinking. Don't worry. All right. That'll do it. I didn't plan on doing more than 20 minutes here. Again, if you missed it, I put out a video. And if you missed any of this, you could scroll back. I think this is me at my best. Somber, thoughtful, not as exuberant as you normally get me. And, of course, there are times to be frustrated or angry or upset about the various teams that I talk about or issues that I find or NJ Transit. There isn't much to feel tonight because we've all felt it so many times in the past. You just grow numb to it. So that'll do it. I appreciate everyone for tuning in, and see you all down in Cancun. Peace, guys. See ya.